Hi everyone, this is Katie Groves, and I only have a few minutes to make this video, but I wanted to do this and try to express the thoughts that I'm experiencing right now. Today is a difficult day, which is creating a lot of stress for our system, but it's actually been the best spring equinox that we have had so far. As we put a lot of work into deprogramming around it and processing trauma and just strategizing as a system on how to cope with anything that comes up. But we did do something that has triggered us a lot, which was we watched a movie called Moebius. I believe that is how you would pronounce it, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll put some info about it in the description. For those who have seen it or know about it, you may understand the expression on my face. It's one of the most messed up movies imaginable. Some people might not think that it was all that hardcore, as there are much more overtly violent things that have been portrayed in films, both in the undergrounds and in the more above ground world. But for me personally, this is one of the most painful movies that I have ever watched in the more above ground world. In this film, there is a teenage boy and his parents. It's a Korean movie, and it's one that could be universally understood by people who speak any language, because there are no actual words spoken in the movie. It's just the language of extreme family dysfunction and pain. So there's this boy and his two parents, and his father is cheating on his mother, and his mother goes crazy and commits a terrible act of violence against the boy. She first tries to do this to the father, but the father fights back, throws her out of the room, so she goes into the boy's room and does it to him instead. And then things just get more painful from there. It's just one extreme, painful, violent thing after another. There ends up being sexual abuse from both parents. It's a little more covert from the father, but it's still sexual abuse, and there's overt abuse from the mother. And in the end, the boy finds peace in a really brutal but really enlightening way. When I look at the film symbolically, I see it as enlightening, at least. One might not think so, but I see it that way. And the film has just hit me in ways that I can't even explain. I don't think I have ever related to a movie character like I relate to the boy. Some of the violence in it brought up a lot of things for me around not just the double parent incest that I suffered at the hands of my parents, but my gender dysphoria as well. And trying to process all of this is agonizing, especially given that it's a difficult date. But my system is handling it as best we can. Our biggest source of stress is actually that our partner is really not well right now, and we don't have much capacity to be there for him. But I think the biggest thing that I want to express about this film and the way I feel about it is that it has brought me in touch with this sense of silent agony. Like I said, this film can be universally understood by people of various cultures because there is no talking. And even though there is screaming and fighting in it, there was a particular level of silence about the boy. There was more quiet, truly quiet anguish in him than there was in the other characters, even though the other characters didn't talk either. And I realized that in me is so much pain that does not know how to articulate itself. And I think that one of the biggest things that happens when children are sexually abused by both of their parents, especially when those parents keep child isolated, as they so often do, is this soul-crushing inability to express one's pain. This total, complete bafflement and bewilderment, and the horror of what one internalizes when both of one's parents are that sick is just incomprehensible. And it's really hard to navigate for us as somebody who has empathy, who would never want to do those things to other human beings. I'm not saying that I've never been angry and I've never wanted to lash out at anyone, but I have never been as deranged as my parents, and the sexual violence that they committed, I don't feel that that is truly a part of me. However, we all internalize our parents, and so to internalize abusers who are that deranged, it's incredibly confusing trying to figure out, that horror isn't me. So that's what I'm experiencing right now. I'm sitting with this horror. I'm sitting with both of my parents inside of myself and the silent agony of looking at them and not being able to express anything to them. I don't remember if I've shared this in a video before. I think that I have, but I'm not 100% sure. I at least considered it. I had an experience when I was small. I'm not sure how old, maybe 6 or 7. And I was looking at both of my parents. And I saw into them, and I saw that there was nothing in either of them, that they were baseless. That is the word that came to my mind. And the feeling of just crushing agony, in both parents be narcissistic and empty, and then adding the sexual abuse to that. I just remember that feeling of silence and that feeling of sitting with this box of pain that just had nowhere to go.